Hello, I am the YA horror author of Vampire Juice, and we are reading One Evil Summer by R.L. Stine. This is chapter 14. So, just a recap what has happened. Amanda and her family have left Fear Street for the summer, and they have a beach house, but Amanda still has to go to summer school. So what happens? They hire a nanny. Well, her name is Chrissy, and she starts doing evil things. For example, Amanda's cat disappears or is run over. Chrissy floats in the Amanda caught her floating in the air. And now we're at the point where she's talking on the phone with her friend from Fear Street and finds out that Susie is in the hospital. Okay, so let's find out. Susie is in the hospital, Carter said in a trembling voice. What? Amanda wasn't sure she heard correctly. What happened? She was in the library yesterday looking up something, Carter continued. It's so weird, Amanda. Suddenly, she slumped over on the microfilm viewer, blood pouring from her mouth and nose. How horrible, Amanda cried, clutching the phone tightly. What was it? The doctors are totally puzzled, Carter said. They haven't a clue. They're keeping Susie in the hospital for tests. Amanda felt a knot of dread in her stomach. Chrissy had done this. She was absolutely sure of it. All right. Chrissy had been on the phone line the day before when Amanda had talked to Susie. Somehow, Chrissy had used her powers on Susie. Are we sure it's Susie, though? R.L. Stine has a way of switching things around, so it's the people we least suspect. So, all right. Amanda, are you there? Carter asked. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking about something. This is so terrible. I know. Today I went to get the things Susie had left behind at the library. Mrs. Bain asked me to. The librarian told me Susie was checking on microfilm back issues of the Harrison County Gazette. And when it happened, Mrs. Branton has no idea why she was doing it. Susie isn't exactly the type to do research when she doesn't have to. How do you know to call me? Amanda asked, still thinking about Chrissy. Susie had your summer phone number written on a notebook, so I thought I'd call to see if you could tell me anything that might help. She wasn't taking any weird drugs or anything, was she? Huh, Susie? Of course not, Amanda replied in a quivering voice. She realized that her hand was shaking so violently that she couldn't even hold the phone to her ear properly. Do you know why she was checking those old newspapers? Carter asked. No idea. Why is she lying? I thought he was her friend. How could she possibly explain to Carter everything that had been happening? Carter, I have to go. Call me tomorrow. Let me know how Susie is, okay? All right, Carter agreed. She can't have any visitors, but I'll call Mrs. Benton and check. Thanks, Amanda said. As she hung up, she stared at the phone, trying to stop shaking, thinking hard. Now I know one thing for sure, she decided. I have to get into Chrissy's room and see the rest of those clippings. They have the answer to Chrissy's real identity. and purpose. Mrs. Coughlin came into the kitchen. Amanda, you're pale as a ghost. What's wrong? Susie Branton's in the hospital, she told her mother. Mrs. Coughlin's face filled with surprise. What happened? I'm not sure. The doctors aren't sure either. That was all she was going to say. If she told her mother what she suspected about Chrissy, her parents would rush her back to Dr. Elmont first thing in the morning. How did your talk with Chrissy go? Mrs. Coughlin asked. Amanda's eyes shifted restlessly for a moment. What should she say about Chrissy? She stuck to her decision to act as if she had really made her peace with Chrissy. It went great, Mom. What Dr. Elmont said really made sense to me. I'm going to get along with Chrissy from now on. Mrs. Coughlin studied Amanda. I hope so, honey. Yeah, don't worry, Mom. Okay, if you say so. Listen, the baker's called and invited you and Dad and me. It's Chrissy's night off. Do you feel well enough to mind the kids? Oh, my goodness. She is doing a good job, isn't she? She's doing a wonderful job of sidetracking them. What do you think is going to happen? Interesting. All right. Amanda turned to see Chrissy appear in the doorway. I stay if you need me, she offered. No, that's okay. You can go out, Chrissy, Amanda told her, flashing her warm smile. If Chrissy went out, Amanda realized it would be the perfect chance to search the clippings and phone the references on Chrissy's resume. Really, the kids are ready for bed anyway. There's not much to do. I don't have anything planned, Chrissy replied. You've had a hard time, and I don't mind staying. You girls can work this out yourselves, Mrs. Coughlin laughed. As long as one of you stays, we're going. I'll stay, Amanda said firmly. Then at least let me tuck them in, Mrs. Coughlin kissed Amanda on the forehead. I guess you two really are going to be friends. I am so glad. Thanks for saying. No problem. A few minutes later, Mr. and Mrs. Coughlin drove away. Amanda returned to her bedroom. She passed the room Kyle and Mary were sharing. Chrissy sat on the bed reading The Cat in the Hat Comes Back to Mary. In her bedroom, Amanda found the copy of Chrissy's resume. You stay in here, she warned the calico kitten. If you want to stay alive, I've got to hide you from Chrissy. Amanda hurried back to the kitchen. As she passed, she heard Chrissy reading another book to Mary. Closing the door behind her, Amanda crossed the room to the kitchen phone. She punched in the second number listed, the one which no one had ever answered before. 1 ring, 2, 3, 4. Amanda gave up on the 7th ring. So much for that. Did anyone expect that difference? No. She glanced at the kitchen door, then punched in the first number, the one which was always busy. This time, someone picked up right away. Hello. Oh, hello, said Amanda, startled that someone had answered. I'm calling about Chrissy Minor. She gave this number as a reference. Amanda checked the name above the number. Elaine Harrison, she said to speak to Mrs. Harriman. Well, the girl on the other end hesitated. I'm just a neighbor. My mother and I we came into the judge's house. We were wondering why we hadn't seen the Harrimans in so long. You don't believe what we just found. I'm sorry. I think I'm going to be sick. It's so. At that moment, Amanda heard a woman call, "Who's on the phone, Rachel?" "It's someone calling about Chrissy." So why is she going to be sick? Interesting. What is your guess? I'm thinking maybe they were killed. I don't know. "Hang up right now," Amanda heard the older woman command. "No, please," Amanda begged. "Don't hang up." "I can't talk now," the girl said, lowering her voice. "Did you say this is about a reference? Do you know where Chrissy is?" "Yes, she's right here. Chrissy is in our house." The girl gasped in horror. "Oh no, get out, now." "Why?" asked Amanda. "Why?" The phone went dead. Oh my goodness. The phone has to go. It was dead. The phone went dead. So what is going to happen? All right. Well, thank you for watching. This is where I have to stop for today. And if you like YA mystery adventures, YA horror mystery adventures with vampires, teen romance. When I say teen romance, a little kissing. That's about it. And they're spooky and creepy like Fear Street, then check out Vampire Juice. My link is in the bio. Now, thank you for watching and have a good afternoon.